Target Shooter 145, and I don't know how long ago this was asked on one of my videos. It was either, I think it may have been of how this Crosman Vigilante works, but I can't remember if it was on the review or that one. Somebody asked me, I don't want to say the whole thing because the way they put it, they sounded like they were uneducated about guns, which you know I am. Basically they're asking if this thing was only single action or if it could do double action. Now what single action is that you physically have to pull the hammer back in order to fire it. Double action, which this thing has, is you can pull the trigger repeatedly. Now I do have this thing on safe, but you can just keep pulling the trigger over and over again and get shots off as long as you let it completely reset. But one thing to note about single action is it's a lot easier to pull the trigger, because if you can see, the trigger comes back when I pull the hammer back, and then it's basically like a pound trigger, maybe a pound and a half. It's very light, but when you have it firing in double action, there's a long, nice, hard pull to it, and you can really get off your sights trying to pull that thing back. I would say it's a good 7 or 8 pound trigger pull. I don't have a trigger gauge, but it's about 7 or 8 in my guess. Maybe 8.5 with double action, but when you go in single action, it cuts down on a lot of that because the trigger is literally sitting right at the edge before it breaks. So that's the difference between single action and double action. Single action, you have to pull the hammer back first, which I honestly feels a lot better doing, because when the revolvers first came to be, that you had to pull the hammer back first. But double action, if you don't feel like pulling the hammer back and you can deal with that long, irritating trigger pull, I just like single action a lot better. And a lot of times people like to do it one-handed, but that's the difference between single and double action. Somebody commented on, I think, on how this Vigilante works, but that's the difference. Appreciate you watching. Thank you very much for tuning into this video, and I'll see you next time.